It is now about 8 o'clock in the morning. The day is starting and I have woken up so excited because I woke up with a message from my friend Alicia saying that she'd spotted one of my book covers out in a bookshop on display on the table. That's always a good sign in Broadway Market. So that has just put my morning off to a really good start. And I'm doubly excited because this is my first YouTube video. I am Georgie, for anyone watching who has just stumbled across this video, although I'm guessing most people might be friends or people who follow my illustration over on Instagram. I have been working as an illustrator for about 8 years now, which it doesn't feel like it's been that long. But yeah, I mainly work in book covers, which is just such a dream come true. I remember when I was signed with my agent about 4 years ago, and we had this big meeting. I remember I was on Zoom with all the agents, and I guess I was quite young at that point, so it was quite daunting, and they were asking me where I wanted to take my illustration career, and I kind of said, on a whim, really. Well, not on a whim, because it had always been a dream of mine, but I was like, I'd love to do book covers one day. But it felt almost so silly saying it out loud like that. I was like, but like that would never happen, kind of thing. So to now be mainly working on book covers, I think I'm illustrating my 20th book at the moment, which, yeah, it's just crazy, and I love it so much. I was such a bookworm when I was little, and I feel like if 9-year-old Georgie knew that I was illustrating book covers as my full-time job now, she would lose her tiny mind. So that's something that's always just in the back of my mind, to make that little younger version of me happy and live the life that she would want me to live. I'm so excited to be coming over to YouTube. It has been something that I've been thinking about doing for quite a long time, and an artist friend of mine actually recently said to me, have you thought about you doing YouTube? Because I feel like your videos would be really suited to it, and I love making videos. I do quite a lot of day in the life stuff over on my Instagram and stuff, but I feel like sometimes trying to consolidate everything into a 90-second reel and like worrying about, the algorithm and all this kind of stuff is quite limiting. So I love the idea of making longer videos. I am a massive YouTube girly myself. I definitely have all my favourite comfort YouTubers, and I love the kind of intentionality with YouTube. I love saving up a video that I'm really looking forward to watching, that being my evening. I'll put my dressing gown on, I'll light a candle, I'll have a cup of tea, and I'll watch the 20-minute, half an hour video, and then I'll read my book and go to bed. And I feel like I never feel guilty for that, whereas sometimes when I'm on Instagram and then you get sucked into scrolling. Anyway, I'm hoping that maybe my videos, I don't know, I'm just excited to make the videos that I want to make. I love choosing the perfect music, all that kind of thing, and hopefully they can be a comforting space for some other people too. I feel nervous and excited at the same time being here. I feel like it is quite daunting talking to the camera. I'm kind of used to it, but it's a bit different on shorter videos because you're sort of behind the lens for a lot of voiceovers. So hopefully as I carry on making videos, I'll become more natural in front of the camera. And yeah, it can be slightly daunting thinking, people from school watching, things like that. But I honestly think if you feel cool to make something, never, ever, ever let the thought of what someone else thinks stop you from doing that. Because if we all lived by that rule, nothing would ever get made. No books would be published. No songs would be written and released. All of these amazing gifts that are out in the world for everyone to enjoy. And I think if you hold on to something out of fear, you are just making yourself small. So if there's something that you're wanting to make but not, just please go and make it. And I'm trying to take my own advice on that today and just start by making my first video of the year. I also feel like January is the perfect time to get on and start something that you've been meaning to do. So yeah, I'm hoping to bring you a lot more videos this year, and this is just the start. I'm excited to bring you along on my illustration journey as an illustrator living by the sea here in Devon. Me and my husband, it feels so weird saying husband because we just got married a few months ago, but yeah, me and my husband Ted moved to the seaside about 3 years ago, and we're living in a little witchy cottage. And I feel like I used to sort of feel a bit guilty, like making little videos and things like that, because although I enjoyed it so much, then afterwards I'd be thinking, oh, I've spent all this time making this video and I should be using this time actually working and drawing and writing and things like that, which 100% those are the most important parts of my practice. But as I'm kind of growing as an artist, I'm realising that documenting my process, documenting every little corner of life that I find has magic and joy in it, that is as much a part of my practice as creating the work itself. And coming to this realisation has actually made me so happy, because I do see art as a little window into how someone views the world. So for me, along with my illustrations, I feel like the little colourful corners of my home, the way I put outfits together and bring colour combinations together, the colour palettes I see when I'm out in nature, all of these things make me so happy, and they are a part of my practice. I'm realising I'm not going to be putting any kind of pressure on myself in terms of, you know, how many videos or like a schedule or anything like that, because I just want to keep it fluid and something that I really enjoy doing. So today is just kind of a little bit of an intro about me, and then I've got a deadline to finish. Then I think I'm going to go on a beach walk, and I've got something fun planned for this afternoon as well. There we go. It's now Thursday afternoon and I'm taking the afternoon off. Ted is out at the gym, so I've got the house to myself, which is always a bit of a treat. And I submitted my deadline at lunchtime. I'm working on quite a few at the moment, but I'm in that really lovely period where I've just handed everything in that needs to be handed in. So I'm taking the afternoon off and I'm going to be doing my vision boarding for 2026, which I was really hoping to do this sort of 31st of December, 1st of January. But yeah, I had all these plans for a lovely slow start to the year, but it didn't quite work out like that. I feel like anyone who works in illustration will know that you can't really pick and choose when you're going to be busy. And I mean, I'm very lucky and privileged that I am busy with illustration work at the moment. Working on 4 book covers, which, yeah, I'm just so lucky to be doing that. I think there was 2 covers that I shared before Christmas, The Matchmaker's Cottage and Ancient History Between Us, which is more of an Italian summery scene, and those 2 covers seem to have attracted more inquiries to make more book covers, which is amazing. But then the flip side of that is when you sort of take on maybe a bit too much work at the same time, so be kind of juggling 4 at once is quite a lot. And yeah, I was sort of planning a slow start to the year, which didn't happen. I think one of the tricky things as an illustrator is juggling projects. I feel like it's so much easier said than done. People be like, don't take on too much work. You've got to know your boundaries. But the reality is, A, it feels very unnatural to say no to work, and B, when it's things like book covers or any of the projects that you really want to do and really excite you, don't want to say no anyway. So I do tend to say yes and just find a way to make it work. But then there can be sort of periods when things get a bit crazy and you've got all these deadlines that coincide with each other. So yeah, it hasn't been the slowest start to the year, in all honesty. It's been a bit frenzied, but I'm also feel very lucky to be able to be doing this for a job. So it's the ebbs and flows and just kind of riding with it, I think. And I'm also learning that when you need help, just ask for it. And 9 times out of 10, people will want to help you. So, for example, one of my deadlines this week, and I'm normally really stringent on sticking to deadlines, but, with Christmas and New Year, it just was quite a lot. And I reached out and said, would I be able to have a couple of extra days? Because I've got multiple deadlines at the moment. And yeah, I think the last round of notes I got was maybe the day before Christmas Eve. So it was just quite a lot. And they were lovely and they said yes, of course. So that kind of helped me. But there have been incidences in the past where I've asked for a deadline extension, not through any fault of my own or time management. It was just such a big book project and there was so much work to do within a really short time frame. I asked for more time and they said no, because that's just how the publishing industry works. Sometimes they have dates that they've got to keep to, and I totally understand that. And in those instances, then there sometimes are sleepless nights. But I would take all the stress of things like deadlines because it's something I care about so much, and often when you receive the book in your hands, it's just the best feeling ever. And also in my week I get a lot more flexibility than other people maybe in a 9 to 5. So I feel like there are definitely pros and cons to working for yourself, freelance work, illustration, all these kind of things. And yeah, I'll be talking a lot more about this kind of stuff on my channel. So let me know if you have any specific illustration questions. I can maybe talk about my journey as an illustrator, my routines, tips for starting out in illustration. Maybe I'll do a whole video on that kind of thing. But back to now and vision boarding for the new year. I'm actually such a fan of the new year. I think it's just so exciting, that kind of gift of a fresh start. And there's 3 wishes that I am definitely calling in 2026. One of them is work related, and it's something that I've been working towards for probably about 1.5 years now, and I'm just really hoping that it comes to fruition this year. I feel like it is. I feel like it's already on its way. I'm not going to sort of say it out loud yet because I don't know. I feel like I have sort of mixed feelings in terms of manifesting. Like sometimes it feels right to say your dreams out loud and kind of speak them into existence. But then sometimes I feel like an idea is almost sort of like your baby and you need to keep it safe until it's ready to be set out into the world. So I'm keeping that one in my heart for now, but asking all my angels to make it come true this year. And then I have one around home and one around travel, which is basically planning our honeymoon, because we got married in September, which just still feels like a dream, honestly. I can't believe that we're married. But we're going to be taking our honeymoon. It will be over a year because we got married in September and we're going to go on our honeymoon in November, so it'll be like 1 year and 2 months. So something to look forward to. So those are my sort of 3 things that I'm going to be, getting pictures of and collating in my vision board. Maybe I'll show you it when it's finished. And then besides those 3 New Year wishes, I have little habits that I'm going to try and implement this year. One of them is reading a book a week, which It's quite ambitious for me. Not back in the day, I used to be such a voracious reader, but I was in a reading slump last year, and I think it's just because I made excuses of things taking over and not having time and things like that. But so far, so good. It looks like we're coming to the end of the first week of the year, and it looks like I should be finishing my first book, which I'm happy about. So that's my first habit. And then my other habit for this year is taking up a new hobby, which is ballet. And I went to my first lesson just before Christmas, and then I went to my second lesson this week on Tuesday. So just something really nice that I can do for myself on Tuesday evenings. And honestly, it was just so much fun. I feel like the first thing that got me into ballet is for my Christmas cards, I made some illustrations inspired by the Nutcracker, and honestly that brought me so much joy making those drawings. I just feel like the ballet is so beautiful to watch. I love the drama, the costumes, the skill involved, watching these beautiful women contort their bodies into these amazing shapes. And yeah, the music as well. In our class, we've been doing Romeo and Juliet. We did a bit of the Nutcracker before Christmas, and then we've been doing Swan Lake as well. And it's just, I don't know, I'm terrible at ballet. I'm genuinely so bad. But I feel like it's just so nice. There's women of all ages who come. There's one woman who's, I guess, a bit older than me, and she comes with her mum, and I thought that was so nice. And there's just something so lovely about seeing this group of women who, you know, meet every week and take an hour just to do something for themselves. We're all beginners. Obviously, there's some people in the class who are fantastic. But it's just nice. Even though I've only done it a couple of times, it's a really nice feeling to be doing something, not because I want to get amazing. Obviously, I do hope I improve, but just for the pure joy of doing it. I feel like in this day and age, we have to always, be the best at something to do it, and that's just completely not true. So yeah, I'm excited for ballet and reading as my hobbies this year. Another thing that has put off my year to the best start is we arrived back in Devon a few days ago, and there's kind of areas in our house that have been building up. I don't know if you have similar things in your house, but little areas where I tend to just dump stuff and pretend it's not there. Like one of the problem zones was behind the sofa or in our dresser. Our coat rack is a mess, the bathroom cabinet. So we got back and we unpacked all our stuff from home. And then I was like, shall we just do it now? Let's just do one area. And we just blasted through it. And then each day this week, I've been doing one little area, one drawer behind the sofa. Yesterday was the bathroom cabinet, just clearing stuff that we don't need out and getting everything tidy. And it didn't even take that long, but for some reason it had just been on my list for so long and I'd just been ignoring it. And there is something so cathartic about getting rid of stuff that you don't need. I've also made a little pile of clothes that I'm going to either sell or donate some of them. And yeah, I think the beginning of the year is the perfect time to clear out, start fresh. And I'm honestly just so excited for this year, and I'm about to get on with my vision boarding now, so I'll keep you posted with how that goes. So this is the final result. This is my vision board for 2026, and it's filled with all the places I want to go this year, most of which are in the UK, but there's one place abroad for our honeymoon. lots of things I want to do in my work this year, opportunities I've applied for, people I want to work with, my words for the year, van trips that I want to take with Ted. But yeah, I feel like these pictures really capture the kind of year that I'm going for this year. Just winding down for bed now, but if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I have loved making this, and let me know what you'd like to hear more of, whether it's illustration. I might do a whole Q&A on illustration and I don't know, my journey or tips on starting out in illustration, or Devon, or wedding. We could do a bit on wedding, illustrating our wedding, anything, just let me know. And if you enjoyed watching this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could click subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.